So my name is Noel Mooney.
Yeah.
I'm the Chief Executive of the Football Association of
Yes.
Wales.
Ah.
We've got 170 staff.
Mm-hmm.
We're responsible for football all over Wales. And my job is to lead the organisation. I'm also a board member.
Mm-hmm.
So our board is made up of one executive, which is myself, and also 10 other members, 3 of which are independent members, so they're not football, but they bring certain skills to the board, like finance or legal or data. And then the rest of the board is made up of people elected from the game to represent different parts of football. Between us, we make up the FAW board. Then above that, we've got an FAW council, which is about 30 people who were elected from different parts of Welsh football. So it could be from the women's side of the game, children's side of the game, professional side of the game. And they are the council, and we meet every couple of months to present how we're delivering our strategy. Our strategy is called Our Wales. And that strategy is really what drives everything here. We've said, here's the big things we're going to do: grow participation, qualify for tournaments and so on. And the council and the board check and challenge to make sure that we're delivering the strategy really well. That's just an introduction, by the way. I don't know if you've started filming yet, but...
제가 제일 궁금한 건 한국에도 축구협회장이 계시긴 한데 CEO는 아니거든요. 근데 여기서도 뭔가 아까 보니까 뭐 회장, 프레지던트가 있고 CEO가 있는 건지 그리고 CEO만 있다면 어떤 방식으로 선출되거나 뭐 되시는 건지.
Okay, so in the UK we've got a different system, I suppose, to lots of the world actually, whereby we're very executive driven. So the president is the figurehead of the association. The president is elected by the council to be the president of the association, and they chair the council. So what we have here is it's a voluntary role, which is a figurehead role, and as I say, chairs the council, whereas the role of chief executive, for example, is to lead the delivery of the strategy, everyday operations of the organisation. And I suppose, you know, in a lot of the world, the president's an executive president. So they're actually in the organisation, working and making decisions for the organisation. In Western Europe, and particularly in the United Kingdom, the associations are more executive driven. So, as I said, the president, vice president, so on, are voluntary roles elected from the game to represent the members.
그러면은 어떻게 보면 일단 기업의 CEO랑 가장 비슷하다고 보면 되는 건가요?
Yeah, it's very much a corporate executive CEO role here, which means that you're responsible for delivery of the strategy from top to bottom, really. I appoint a senior leadership team, so you'd have a technical director, for example, Dave Adams, who's responsible for all football matters, the hiring of coaches, for example, or you'd have a human resource director who's responsible for people, making sure we've got the right people in the right places. We have a finance director to make sure that our finances work very well. We have an operations director to make sure the organisation operates really well. We've got a public affairs director who makes sure that our relationships with government, local authorities, local government works really well, because we're all about partnerships here. To build infrastructure, to do things, you need to have partnerships. So we have a director responsible for those partnerships. We have a commercial director to make sure that we're maximising the commercial opportunities for the association, whether that's TV rights, media, sponsorships, ticketing, memberships and so on, hospitality, making sure that we create as much value as possible for the customer, but also for the organisation, because we take all of that money. We're a not-for-profit organisation, so any money that we bring into the organisation, we invest it back into getting more girls and boys to play football. That's our priority around here. So the senior leadership team takes the day-to-day decisions on how the business operates, but that SLT reports to a board, and that board is responsible for agreeing the strategy of the organisation. The SLT and the executive is responsible for the implementation of the strategy.
그러면 최근에 모르시겠지만 한국은 그 감독 선임 때문에 난리인데 CEO님도 감독 선임에도 관여를 하시는 거냐, 아니면 그 보드 멤버들이 하는 건지 그게 궁금합니다.
So with the national team manager, we've changed our system in the last few years. It used to be done by a volunteer committee, the International Game Board here, but we've changed it in the last few years. So the technical director takes the responsibility for identifying who the next national team manager should be. I would work closely with them to make sure that the contract situation and that it fits with our values and with our strategy and so on. But then we bring that recommendation to the FAW board for approval, and the board has got the final approval. However, in truth, in practice, it is the technical director really who is responsible for the hiring and firing of our national team managers.
그러면 근데 아까 말씀하셨듯이 이게 어쨌든 비영리 단체긴 하지만 모든 협회가 돈을 잘 벌어야 되잖아요. 근데 이제 웨일스 협회가 사실 여기 뭐 그냥 잉글랜드 FA도 있고 스코틀랜드 FA도 있고 근데 각자의 전략이 있을 건데 웨일즈만의 전략 이런 건 뭔지가
Yeah, I mean our turnover is about £36 million a year. That's made up predominantly of TV rights for the men's national team. Then what you've got is partnerships. So we've got some big sponsors here of the partners who want to work with us on developing their own brands, but also the game. Well, we're very strong, I would say, is coach education actually, because we bring in some really big stars from around the world to do their coaching badges here and to do their coaching qualifications. And what that means is we've got a huge queue of people who want to be part of the FAW's coach education system. So we're one of the strongest in the world, clearly, in coach education. We've had some of the top players and coaches in the world come here, and that means that we're able to generate quite a lot of revenue from coach education. There's other things, for example, we would have revenues coming from player participation, for example, disciplinary fines for players and different things. But really, over the last few years, where we have excelled is in government funding. So we've managed to communicate and to explain to government the rich role that football plays in Welsh life and the social return on investments in growing participation, for example. So the government and the local governments are now spending a lot more with us on investing in growing participation for girls and boys, and that's been the biggest change in our revenues over the last 3 years. We've attracted tens of millions of pounds from both the UK and the Welsh governments and local governments to invest back into the game. So that's been the big change for us in the last couple of years.
I'm sorry, no, it's just that someone was so the biggest change was, so is it maximize participation?
Yeah.
And can you commercialize it through that?
Yeah, so what we've managed to do is to explain to government the value in terms of what they save on health budgets, what they save on education budgets by getting more boys and girls to play football. They've now realised that instead of putting all that money into health budgets like beds and hospitals, if they put some money into participation, they save a lot more money over time. By investing into fitness, which football is the biggest participation sport in the country. It's really attractive for people to play. It's easy for people to play football. I wouldn't say commercialise it, but certainly to grow our revenues, to invest back into participation, to create happier and healthier lives across Wales. If people play football, their mental health, their physical health are far improved. We know that beyond doubt. Therefore, we've managed to create a whole new stream of revenues for the association, as I say, to build pitches across Wales for grassroots football, for schools, for local clubs. We're building a lot more pitches using government funding to achieve that.
코치 교육 말씀하셨는데 기성용도 그렇고 여기 와서 제가 받는다고 해서 좀 깜짝 놀랐었고 사실 기성용이한테 물어보니까 아레스나 감독도 여기 와서 받았다고 하는데 그럼 여기 이 웨일즈 축구협회 코칭 뭐라 그럴까 강점은 뭐가 있어서 이렇게 많이 오는 건지 줄 서 있다고 하는데.
Yeah, we've got a system called the Welsh Way, which is principles of play that we've worked on for many, many years to create here. And what we do in coach education, we try to take a very personal approach, a bespoke individual approach to the coach, which means that we supply mentors, for example, to guide them through their coaching journey. So the costs are higher for us. When you appoint mentors, you have to fund all of this. But anybody who comes in the courses that we run here for coach education will feel a very warm environment, a very friendly environment, and one that really takes care of the human being instead of just selling courses and getting the money and getting them through the course as fast as possible just to be a revenue earner. We really care about the experience of each of the people doing it. So, I mean, as of today, we've got the Borussia Dortmund manager, Nuri San, doing his course with us, Gael Clichy, who is a former Arsenal Man City player, with us, Chris Gunter, 100 caps for Wales, he's our under-19s manager, and Johan Cabaye, who played for PSG and Newcastle, on the current list. I mean, if you look in the past, we've had the likes of Thierry Henry, Patrick Vieira, Roberto Martinez, who's the Portugal manager, you know, go through our system. And even, you know, stars like Iniesta, for example, are in our system because the word of mouth has gone around Europe. They know the quality of the experience here is very high. They know that they create an alumni of friends that last way beyond the course. They've got a network across Europe of people who've come through the Welsh system who communicate together and they build each other up. So we get coaches from all over the world that come to Wales to be educated. We take great pride in that, and we're constantly pushing ourselves to see how can we improve the experience of the coach so that, yeah, the word of mouth continues to grow around Europe of what a great country Wales is for coach education.
사실 한국에서는 옛날이긴 하지만 이 영국에서는 스코틀랜드에 있는 그 교육기관이 가장 낫다. 그 감독들이 뭐 허가슨도 있고 이렇게 했는데 사실은 그건 옛날 얘기인 거네요.
Well, there's the old style manager, I suppose. You know, you say Sir Alex Ferguson, for example, David Moyes, as an example. These really great managers. Scotland definitely produced a lot of wonderful managers. There's also been an evolution, I suppose, in terms of what the role of the manager is. More clubs look for head coaches, for example, now. And that evolution is something that Wales have been able to capitalise on. As I say, through our Welsh Way, for example, we've got clear defined principles of play which resonate with the modern coach. So while the likes of Scotland have managed to produce great managers in the past, I'm sure they will in the future, we've really focused on this modern, progressive, technical head coach that has been in line with the wave across Europe and around the world. We've managed to stay in line with the modern trends, and that is why we are so attractive to top coaches around the world to come here, because they know that we're precisely in line with the most modern teaching practices.
두 번째로 궁금한 게 아까 말씀하셨듯이 그 지방정부들이랑 그 피치를 만든다고 하셨잖아요. 어느 정도 만들 계획이시고 효과를 실제로 얻은 거를 좀 알 수 있는지.
So what we did was we did a review of Wales to look at how many pitches we would need, what type of pitches would we need, artificial grass or real grass. You know, we looked, there's 22 local governments, local authorities in Wales. So we worked in partnership with each of the 22 local authorities, as I said, to assess what pitches we needed. And then how would we fund it? So we basically have built a joint vision between the FAW and each of the 22 local governments as to what each region should look like. The amount of money that we would need is £500 million to build the pitches that we need here. So what we did was we set up a special foundation called the Cymru Football Foundation, and its job is to attract funding and then distribute that funding to try to get this £500 million to build the pitches. It has started really well. We can already see we're putting out tens of millions of pounds and delivering on this vision already. We still have quite a long way to go. It's a big journey ahead of us, but we're certainly going in the right direction. At the moment, we're putting out £10 million a year, which would mean it would take us 50 years to get to 500 million, so that's not good enough. But it's a great start. And our feeling is there's a thing called the laws of attraction. Once we start spending money and showing that these pitches are being built and opening more pitches, the other partners will want to work with us to build these pitches and to develop Welsh sport. So we are certainly investing very heavily along with local governments in their facilities, to grow participation. But we do continually need more partners to help us. That said, we find that the Welsh Government are very supportive, and we are working on the next election, which will be in 2026, to try to get the political parties to design their manifestos to include significant spending in infrastructure. Now, if all of the parties agree that building grassroots football infrastructure or sports infrastructure is important, it means the budgets will go way up in 26. So that's our political lobbying at the moment, is to try to get all political parties absolutely convinced that a significant increase in investment in football and sports infrastructure is key. If we're successful in that, then it should take us a long way towards achieving our dreams here.
말씀을 정말 잘해서 좋은 기사가 될 것 같고, 네, 그리고 사실 그거 이게 CEO로서 가장 또 뭔가 외주 축구 발전을 위해서 생각하시는 게 있다면 그 부분에 대해서 마지막으로 한번
말하는 거가
What's really important to us is that we represent society really well and issues that people are interested in. So, for example, sustainability, improving the environment is important to us. Equality, diversity, inclusion, making sure that the association represents everybody. And what that means is that our brand is very strong. Everybody can see that we're an organisation that's very well managed, that's got very good values and has a clear strategy, which means that people want to be with the FAW. It's a very, very powerful brand here across Wales. But what's also important is that we perform well at the international scene as well. So for the first time, both our men's and women's team are in UEFA A division, the top division of European football. Now, you have to remember, we're a country of 3.3 million people. It's a much smaller country than South Korea, for example, a much smaller country than Germany or France or England, and yet we're in the top division of European football because we have agility. We are able to move very quickly and change things very fast here to make sure that we are at the highest level we can do. We are always looking around the world to see what the best practices are, to see what we can bring back to Wales to keep improving ourselves. We have very good governance structures now. We've really improved our decision-making bodies, our decision-making processes. We've really moved that forward. So basically, with the roadmap called Our Wales, which is our strategy through to 26, we're starting to design the next strategy. We're convinced that if we deliver that effectively, we will be in the top 3 or 4 football associations in the world, which is our aim. A couple of years ago, we were named the UK's best sports organisation. It was a reminder to us of the great journey that we're on, but we're extremely ambitious here. We really want our national teams to be competing in World Cups and trying to win World Cups in the future, as unlikely as that may sound because of the size of our country. When we went to the World Cup in Qatar in 22, the only country that was smaller than us was Qatar, who were hosting the competition. So we punch above our weight. We got to the semi-finals of the European Championships, UEFA Euros in 2016. We constantly strive to be better. It's tough because we don't have the population. We don't have the big companies here in Wales. In this part of the world, the big companies are based in London, of course, and will tend to sponsor English football. But we're very resilient, we're very determined, we've got great conviction that we're on the right track, and we know if we do things like be good for sustainability, be good with equality, diversity, inclusion, our high performance strategy, if we deliver that well, we're going to be very successful here over the years ahead.
It's
okay. Oh no, it's great to see you. Thank you very much. Good luck with your work here in Wales. I hope everyone makes you feel very welcome here. I hope everyone's being nice to you. Obviously, Key has got a great history here. He's a big star here, of course, as well. He was a huge fans' favourite at Swansea, as you know, of course. And it's great that he came through his coaching experience with us as well. So we're very proud of him. I hope he's proud of us. And good luck with everything. If you need anything, you've got Dave's contact or my own. Please let us know.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Very much.